Over the next few minutes, we're going to tackle what behavioral designer Nir Eyal calls the single most important skill for the 21st century, and that is becoming indistractable. Think of this as a masterclass on how to reclaim your focus. So, let's just dive right in.
Okay, I want you to think back to this morning, right when you woke up. There is a 79% chance that you did something very, very specific within the first 15 minutes of your day. Any idea what that might be?
Yep, you guessed it. You probably checked your phone. And if you did, you're in the vast majority. It's this almost universal habit we all have, and it's a perfect, kind of scary example of how easily we get pulled away from what we intend to do. Now, this isn't just some small annoyance, it's a huge problem.
Why is it such a problem? Because in today's world, our value, what we get paid for, what makes us good at our jobs, comes from our ability to think deeply and solve tricky problems. And you just can't do that if your attention is being shattered into a million little pieces. So the big question is, how do we get that time back?
Well, here's our 4-step battle plan. First, we're going to uncover the real source of distraction. Then, we'll learn how to actually make time for what matters. After that, we are going to hack back all those triggers that pull us away. And finally, we're going to lock in our focus for good.
All right, first up, we have to redefine the enemy. See, most of us think we know what distraction is, but honestly, we're only seeing the tiny little tip of the iceberg.
We love to blame the external triggers. You know, the pings, the dings, the notifications from our devices. But look closer. The real culprits? They're the internal triggers. Those uncomfortable feelings like boredom or loneliness or fatigue. Our brains are literally hardwired to escape discomfort, and technology just happens to offer the easiest, fastest escape route.
Let this one sink in for a second. Your phone doesn't create the urge to be distracted. It just feeds an urge that was already there. The root of all distraction is a desire to escape an uncomfortable feeling. The problem, it really starts from within. So, if the problem starts from inside us, the solution has to be intentional. And that brings us right to our second step, making time for what Eyal calls traction. The core idea here is so simple. If you don't plan your day, you better believe someone or something else will. It's time to take control.
The best tool for this job? It's called time boxing, and it's built on this really powerful insight. You can't call something a distraction unless you know what it's distracting you from. Time boxing is just the simple process of planning out what you're going to do and when you're going to do it, basically giving every minute of your day a job.
And it's a pretty simple 3-step process. First, you just create a template for your ideal week. What's most important to you? Put that in first. This is crucial. You block out time for that deep, focused work before anything else gets a chance to get on your calendar. Then, you just share it so everybody's on the same page.
Of course, this is where people start to resist. They say things like, oh, but what about my special circumstances? It won't work for me. That's whataboutism. Or they try it, they mess up one time and they just quit. That's perfectionism. Or, and this is a funny one, they just rebel against their own plan because they don't like being told what to do, even by themselves. The key is to treat your calendar like a scientist. It's an experiment to be tested and improved, not some prison that you've built for yourself.
Okay, so you've planned your time. Fantastic. Now, how do you defend it? Well, our third step is all about the practical tactics for managing both those external pings and those internal feelings of discomfort.
To see why this is so critical, just look at this case study. At the UCSF Medical Center, prescription mistakes were a huge problem. When researchers looked into it, they found that nurses were being interrupted about 10 times while they were trying to give patients their medication. I mean, the stakes could not be higher.
The solution they came up with was shockingly simple. And get this, it reduced medication errors by a staggering 88%. So what was this miracle cure? Red plastic vests. That's it. A simple, clear visual signal that basically said, hey, do not disturb. It just goes to show you that managing external triggers doesn't always need some complex, high-tech fix. Sometimes all you need is a really clear signal. So, how can we use our own red vests? Well, for starters, turn off notifications you don't actually need, something like 2/3 of people never do. Triage your email into 2 simple buckets: needs a response today versus sometime this week. That way you're not constantly rereading things. And create scheduled office hours where people know it's okay to interrupt you, which protects the rest of your time. But remember, the real battle is internal.
When you feel that urge, that pull to check your phone or procrastinate, don't just give in. Just pause. Note the feeling. Is it boredom? Is it anxiety? Get curious about it instead of judging yourself for it. And please, remember to be kind to yourself. This stuff is hard for everyone. And that brings us to our final step, the ultimate insurance policy. This is how you make absolutely sure that you follow through on your intentions, even when your willpower, which it inevitably will, runs out. This is called a Ulysses Pact. The idea comes from the ancient Greek hero who literally had his crew tie him to his ship's mast so he could resist the deadly song of the sirens. And we can do the same exact thing by making a pre-commitment, a decision we make right now to prevent our future weaker selves from making a bad choice when temptation strikes.
And there are 3 really powerful types of pacts you can make. First, an effort pack, which just makes distractions harder to get to. Think of apps that lock you out of your phone. Then there's a price pack, which adds a financial cost to failing, like making a bet with a friend. And maybe the most powerful of all is an identity pact, which changes how you see yourself. Start calling yourself an indistractable person, and you'll be amazed at how much easier it is to live up to that label.
Now, throughout this whole process, please remember this one key insight. You will slip up. You're human. You will get distracted. The goal here is not perfection. When you fail, being kind to yourself is way more effective for getting back on track than beating yourself up. Self-compassion is actually a strategy, not an indulgence. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. Because becoming indistractable, it isn't about productivity just for the sake of it. It's about making sure you have the time and the attention for what truly matters to you. So what will you finally make time for?